This week, we highlight a young student who has an inspiring story about a new toy that has a creative touch. And we take a closer look at our athletic departments as they move into gear for their upcoming season. Welcome back to the first episode of WTHS News. I'm Thomas Roper. As we kick off a new school year, so many exciting things come into play, with one of those being the brand new Career Academy. This year, Tupelo High School launched its first Career Academy for the 2023-2024 school year. More than 500 students will explore various careers and pathways during the first academy, the Freshman Academy, which consists of 3 major components: an Exploring Careers course with a college visit and collaborations with local businesses and industries. It will also give students a learning opportunity to interact with other students who have the same interests and hobbies as them.
The end goal of Career Academies is where our students has learned about different careers that are right here in their own area, their own community. The end goal is that they will be able to take that knowledge and apply it to their future goals, dreams, as it relates to a career.
The Career Academy will also give students a brand new learning opportunity. Speaking of new experiences, the JROTC building is still under construction but plans to be finished in the near future. The JROTC program began last year and now has doubled in size. With almost 100 cadets this year, a larger space is necessary. To meet this need, a new building is being constructed for the use of JROTC learning purposes as well as drill practice. The plan was for the building to be finished by the start of the school, but now has not been completed yet. Once this project is complete, the JROTC class will greatly benefit from the larger space. On another note, the Tupelo High School Athletics has finally moved to a 7A classification for the 2023-2024 school year. Rylie has more updates in this week's sports.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to WTHS Sports. I'm Rylie Robinson.
Handing out donuts. Let's go!
Tupelo High School has recently moved up to a 7A school, being the biggest change to THS Sports. Channing gives us an insight into how this has affected multiple of our sports teams.
The Mississippi High School Athletic Association recently modified the class rankings for all Mississippi schools. After their new changes, Tupelo High School will no longer compete with 6A schools but 7A. With this new change, every sport will have to step up to meet the challenge, and coaches will have to focus on what their teams need to thrive.
I think our division is the toughest in the state, one of the toughest in the nation. There's pros and cons to it. Obviously, there's less teams when they did 7A. The biggest thing that we've told our guys is last year's team's not here anymore. This is a new team. This is your team. So, what do you want it to be? So, you know, nobody's going to walk those. Nothing's going to be given to you. You got to work for everything.
Since Tupelo has performed well in its past divisions, the new division will lead to tougher competition and bring new obstacles.
I think this year is probably more of a target on our back because of the year that we had last year and how we won a lot of games. And so there's going to be a lot of folks that circle us, so we got to be more prepared. We know our margin of error is a lot smaller, and we got to take control of that.
Football won't be the only sport adapting to the change. Cross country's coach, Coach Wheeler, knows his runners will have to put in the effort to match the competitor's speed.
Mississippi's going from 6 classifications to 7 classifications, and all the tough competition it feels like from 6A last year is moving up to 7A, so we just need to keep working hard. My biggest thing is you get out of this what you put into it, and we need to keep putting in because other teams are working hard too, and we just can't rest on any success we've had in the past.
Most teams already have their hands full with the division switch. But volleyball will have to perform through even more new changes since their old former assistant volleyball coach became the head volleyball coach.
Something a little bit overwhelming, a little bit more comfortable. I've been here before, so I know some things as far as on the court, a lot of the off the court stuff. We are moving to 7A, so we have a lot of hard competition to be able in our division and our region. So making playoffs is going to be difficult, but we're just going to each week work to get just a little bit better.
The coaches will have added pressure to find a way to help their team succeed, but they are not the only ones to notice the new challenges. A volleyball senior, Miracle Herford, wants to make sure she and her team can keep focused.
To keep a positive attitude throughout playing and in and off the court. So just making sure there's a lot of positivity because it feeds into the whole team as a whole.
Regardless of the sport, Tupelo will have to adapt to tougher teams and stricter schedules. This is Channing Hooper, WTHS News.
Thanks, Channing. Last month, selected members of THS band got to go to Washington and participate in their annual Washington, D.C. 4th of July parade.
It was definitely unforgettable. It was like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It was a fun experience having an opportunity to get and play.
They played multiple Elvis Presley songs to represent their hometown, Tupelo, Mississippi. While THS band was in Washington, our athletes were practicing hard in the heat to kick off their seasons. Our cross-country team ran their first meet last week. They competed in their annual inter-squad meet where everyone races among their fellow teammates. Taylor and Andrew Brown were the top runners for the boys team, and Brooklyn Morgan and Carrie Ann Brown were the top runners for the girls team. Cross country were racing their first official meet on August 26th at the Brooks Invitational. Last week, our volleyball team also started off their season strong, competing against Amory and winning with a score of 3-1. Tomorrow, the Lady Wave will play against Jackson Academy in Northwest Rankin. That's all I have for this week's sports. Make sure you come back for more. I'm Rylie Robinson, WTHS Media.
Thanks, Rylie. Be sure to come out and support the Golden Wave as they take on Amory next week at the Jamboree. As Tupelo High School students just recently started a new school year, little Archie is a kindergartner who has a new toy that identically resembles him. Julia Jane has more on this heartwarming story.
Like most children, 5-year-old Archer Kaufman loves to play with all kinds of toys. But when his mother, Nikki Kaufman, noticed there were not many toys that looked like Archer, she took initiative to see a change for his birthday.
We decided to do a toy and book drive for his school because we noticed that the classrooms hadn't been updated, didn't have a lot of diversity in the things that they had in the rooms.
The Kaufmans saw a big turnout with toys being donated with all types of skin color and hair textures. One of the brands with the most diversity was Fisher-Price's Little People. Archer's mom wrote the company to thank them and to encourage them to keep up the good work.
And I wrote a little PS that said, P.S. If you ever decide to design a little person with brown skin and red hair, please let me know. You'd be amazed at how hard it is to find. He's almost 6, and in his entire life, I've only ever found 2 things with brown skin and red hair.
Miss Kaufman received an email back from Fisher-Price asking for the family's address. As time passed, they didn't think much of it and didn't receive anything. Then, about 5 months later, she received another email.
In May, I got an email that said, hey, just so you know, we're sending you something. Be on the lookout. Open this specific box first. The box comes, I open it up, and I just burst into tears. I mean, immediately crying. And Archer was just looking at me like, what? What is it? What is it? And I said, buddy, they made you. And he went, and he snatched the toy out of my hand and he started running around the house going, they made me! They made me!
Fisher-Price also sent a personalized letter explaining the joy Archer's story gave the team and a box full of little Archers so his classmates could join in the inclusive fun at playtime.
The thing that you want the most for your kids is for people to really see them. Not just say hi and move on, but really see who they are. And it hasn't really been possible for Archer to see himself reflected in a toy. And so when I opened the box and saw like a visual representation of my kid in a toy, it's hard to even explain how meaningful that is.
Through his very own toy, Archer has an opportunity to show the world that everyone deserves to see themselves represented in every way possible. I'm Joy Jane Averett, WTHS News.
Thanks, Julia Jane. Little Archie has a bright future, and this new toy will encourage Archie to become the best version of himself. That's all we have for this week. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching this week's edition of WTHS News, and have a great weekend.